Hello, friends and fellow gamers. Welcome back to another episode. This is the Tutorials for Your Survival series, where I do some tutorials for you. This is a little more in broad, I guess I should say. This is a little more broad. But show you a few things, show you a few concepts, not necessarily a step-by-step. So let's get right into it. Obviously, first thing you're going to need when you're joining into your survival world is you're going to need some food. And the quickest way to get that food is by gardening, or not gardening, by planting crops. So this is a very simple farm here, growing in between two little puddles of water. Something pretty simple. You don't need a bucket, you don't need a mop, you don't need mac and cheese in a pot. All you need is just maybe yourself some seeds and plant it around. I do have some carrots and potatoes and beets in here just for the effect. So this will get you by. This will get you started. But what you really want to do is you really want to get something like this going. This is your next level farm here. As you notice, I have everything planted in rows. Now, this will make the crops grow faster. They'll grow a lot faster in rows, alternating rows. You can have wheat, potatoes, and just alternate them that way. But if you have wheat by wheat by wheat, it'll grow slower. We have a puddle of water here. This is all the water that's around. That is it. It's the only water source that is irrigating this entire area. So you can do a 9x9 farm with a single plot of water in the middle. And if you don't want to fall into that water, just put a little slab on the top of it, or a lily pad, or even a carpet or something. Just something that will allow you to easily walk across it. Even better is if you can get yourself a beehive and make sure that where you put it, you've got flowers on the opposite side of your farm. So they'll have to travel across the farm. They'll pollinate these flowers, and on their way back, they'll sprinkle a little bit of their magic dust onto the garden, and it'll grow even faster. However, this is a manual harvest, manual plant. We do have that going against us. It takes time. But that's your next step. First step, just get it going. Second step, get it nice. Now, this is a automatic harvest. We'll still have to go in and replant. I have a couple different designs up here. This one's a little flatter, and that one can go back one more. So this is dispensers full of water, and this is actual water sources blocked by pistons. So if we come down here and we trip these, you can see that they pretty much have the same effect. They're going to push all the yields down. Pushing it down, I'll release this one too, since I have them on the same path here. And they'll flow down. Pushing all the crops here, will funnel into your hoppers. Fill up your chest. Again, this is a manual replant. Now the dispensers, you gotta actually pick it twice. That will stop. You'll just get like a ladder or something, come in here and replant. I'd recommend taking a hoe with you, because working down the different tiers. So this tier, the bottom tier, is your typical 8 long. So water will flow all the way to the edge and actually stop right here. It won't actually overflow into this. Where this is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the water will come down, it'll overflow, and that will feed this next row. So we have 8, 7, 7. You can go as far as you want. 7, 7, 7. Now the last one, if you do the pistons, you've got to stop at 6, because you've got the pistons there as your 7th row, and the water in your 8th row. Again, that would pour down. Now, if you do this and you do plant them in the rows like we talked about here, it will grow faster. However, your chests are going to be cluttered. Personally, I just do giant pods of one crop, another pod of another crop, to keep things organized. But it does take a little longer to grow. It takes a little longer to replant because you have more pods. But that's what I find works for me. Now, if you don't want the hassle to manually harvest or manually plant, put these guys to work. Each of these pods has a farmer villager in it. This crop is carrots, wheat. I've got potatoes and beetroot in here. 4 pods. And they're all feeding a central villager. He's kind of trapped right there. Now, when it's daytime, they're going to come over to this guy and they're going to chunk some food at him. I don't know what's dying already, but anyway. This design is not perfect yet. I was still experimenting. I was trying to make it so it can be a villager breeder at the same time. I haven't quite got that worked out yet, but let me know if that's something that interests you. And if you want a step-by-step tutorial, let me know that as well, and we can arrange that. So anyway, they're going to chunk them down here. Some of them were getting stuck on the actual fence posts, so I just pushed some hoppers around to grab that extras. And they're all going to funnel into here. The cool thing about this farm, and probably the bad thing too, is they chunk bread. They harvest the wheat, they make the bread, and they chunk the bread at the villager. So you've got pre-made bread here when they throw it in at the villager. The bad thing is you won't get actual wheat. So if you need wheat for like your other farms or trading with villagers or anything like that, you'll have to collect that manually. Or use that and collect it automatic, but replant it manually. So that is what I have for you for crops. Now, I do have the meats over here. A couple different ideas, a couple different concepts. Now the chickens are their own beast. You can see here it's a little thicker in the back here. We got a little redstone going on. Basically, the chickens are sitting on top of this hopper. They lay an egg. It goes into the dispenser. The dispenser chunks it, and thanks to a fellow named UForce, he showed me that you can do, instead of a slab here, because the slab had been broken, it was too high, to use this campfire, because it's a little lower than a slab, and that allows these little chickens here to grow up. As soon as they grow up, they cook. They haven't grown up yet, but as soon as they do, they cook, and then they drop their meat and feathers. So that is a very nice, easy design. Cooks it for you. All you gotta do is come in here, grab it, and go. You're good. Again, this is the bare bones. Of course, decorate this up, make this look nice. I just did it for demonstration purposes. You can fit 24 chickens in there, as long as, if you don't have entity cramming out, you can throw all kinds of stuff in there. This is what I've got going on for the cows. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but this is the way I've done it. You get all the cows here in this pod, and they're suspended there by that trapdoor. There is a dispenser here that dispenses water. And what happens is, take the wheat back here and chucked it in that other chest. What happens is you trip this, and they'll bobble to the surface, and you feed them. Bobble them down, they can't get out. And you feed them. I just fed them recently, so they're probably not all of them are hungry. And then, bam, double click, it's the dispenser, and they'll fall down. The babies fall all the way down. You can see they're just too short for that. So when some of them are adults, or all of them are adults, we can click this, and it'll cook the adults underneath the babies. Oh, there you went. Boom. Done. And we get cooked steak. They will drop their leather too. Oh, they're growing up right before our eyes. Leather and steak. Easy peasy. There we go. Now, if you have a fence post like this on top of here, which I did at first because I didn't want to fall in, that enables the anti-cramming even when the water's on. So I was finding that the adults were dying here instead of dropping the babies down. And once I disable the water, then the babies drop down. So something about that fence post was messing up. So the pigs, all they drop is pork chops. So we can drop that straight into a cooker, and out comes our pork chops. So in the back here, I do have another chest going into the back of the cooker to fuel the coal. Again, same concept. Click the lever twice. We feed them carrots. And due to anti-cramming, the adults die first, leaving the babies to grow up. As soon as the adults die, their meat goes down to the cooker, and voila! All we did was feed them, and we got the food. Obviously, these are just a couple different ways. You could do the same thing with cows. You just have to have a sorter to sort out the leather before you go straight to the cooker, which is an option. I just prefer this because the lava is an infinite fuel source that can just burn them and cook them all at the same time, just like the chickens. Look, we got a little trader going. Would you like some food there, mister? For your travels? No? Okay. So, that'll conclude this episode. Again, I just wanted to show you we've got a few options here as far as farming. We can make it decorative. We can make it productive. We can make it a little easier on ourselves by having something auto-harvest. All we have to do is go back and plant. Or we can set up some villagers to do the harvesting and the planting for us, and we reap the rewards. Like I said before, there is pros and cons to that. We don't get the wheat, but we do get bread. And a couple different options for you for livestock. Chickens are pretty simple. Cows are a little more complicated. We've got a couple different dispensers going on here with a couple different switches. Pigs are pretty straightforward as well. I mean, you could do sheep. I don't know how the sheep work with this. I don't know if they're quite... Oh, they might. I'll have to experiment with that. But that is all the time we have for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little something. And stay tuned next time as we will explore a little bit more on how to survive in this crazy world. I'll see you around.